Testing 1, 2, 3.
So when you guys were talking,
A couple of things came to my mind.
What?
Just yell. I don't want to yell. My brother.
Put it in the holder. Maybe if it's steady, it'll work.
They put it in there?
Yeah.
my brother Rob mentioned Zelda. I wanted to give a little history on where that came from. Years ago, I don't know exactly who it started with, but my brother Tom
Started with
gave
Glinda.
all of us what he called alter ego names. I don't remember all of them. I do remember that my sister Janet was Glinda.
Glinda. Who was Beatrice?
I think I was Beatrice.
I don't remember who I was. Maybe just Pitch.
I forget who you were, Tom.
Adam.
Adam, which is weird.
Rob was Hector.
Hector.
Oh, Rob was Hector, and
What was
my
that?
mother was Zelda. So while it originally started as a way to say, boy, that person's being a fill in the blank, bad mood kind of thing, it turned into it being a Zelda moment, which was my mom being my mom, which was her being funny and goofy and
Crazy.
crazy and all of those kind of things. So just to give you guys a little bit of context about Zelda, and over the years, her funny stories and the funny things that she would do became Zelda stories. We also got Zelda notes, which I'm sure Janet remembers.
Yes.
So when she was pissed off, she would leave us Zelda notes.
Clean your room.
Do this, do that, clean your room, don't leave your shoes so I can trip over them, love Zelda. So that's a really important thing for me in remembering her is Zelda. The other thing is about tissue paper. Tom's talking about he's got tissue paper in his back pocket. Anybody that was ever in my house would never be without Kleenex. This woman had Kleenex everywhere. We always lived.
She decorated with them. They always match whatever room you're
Yeah. Do you hear what Melissa said? She decorated with her Kleenex because her Kleenex boxes would match whatever was in the room. They were everywhere. Tiny apartments, always. But you could walk in. Huh?
I do that.
There you go. So you do it because you got it from her. You walk in the room and there would easily be 6 boxes of Kleenex.
Color
So that-
coordinated.
He has a fetish for him too.
Yeah. So
Yep. Color coordinated. Kim.
color coordinated
Yeah.
Kleenex. So anyway, those are just a couple of things that you guys made me think of. But I wanted to, before I tell my funny stories, I wanted to say a couple of things about my mother. And I was waffling this morning about whether or not I wanted to get up here and say anything. And then I just started thinking about the things that my mother would say growing up and even into adulthood. And I realized that I had a lot of those things. Funny things that I would remember. And some of them are things that all of our moms probably said to us growing up. And some of them were very unique to her. Chew with your mouth closed. Always chew with your mouth closed. Mind your P's and Q's. I didn't really know where the P's and Q's came from, but I could get what that meant. Mind your P's and Q's. Be good. Or 3 more bites. Or you can sit there all night. And sometimes you couldn't leave the table. If she said 3 more bites, you had to sit at the table until you had 3 more bites. Oh, just never mind, Kimberly Ann. That's what she would say when either something wasn't my business or more often when she was aggravated with me because I disagreed with her. Just never mind, Kimberly Ann. I can't find the whoosy whatsy, the thingamabobber, the whatchamacallit. She had those words, and I'm sure there are more. But my favorite was the pooper duper. Anybody know what a pooper duper is?
Yes.
The pooper duper was what the rest of us called the remote. She never called it the remote control. It was the pooper duper. That's what it was. Where's the pooper duper? Robbing Peter to pay Paul, which she was fond of saying, and linking back to what my brother said about growing up where you always had to mind your pennies. That was a frequent one for her, robbing Peter to pay Paul. But she did. She robbed Peter and she paid Paul. And she got it done. I hate spending money on things that don't go in our stomachs. She came home from grocery shopping every single week, grumpy. And on those weeks that she had to buy shampoo and toothpaste and toilet paper, I hate spending money on things that don't go on our stomachs.
Oh my God.
Nowadays, when we're telling a story and there's more to add, we say blah, blah, blah. Other people might say, etc. My mother's version of that was, did-I. Remember that?
That's right.
She'd tell a story, and if there was more to it, that's what she would say. Did-I. This is a good one. Tell your mother something. She'd say, let me look into your eyes.
Oh, God, the little birdie.
Let me look into your eyes and see if you're telling the truth. And you'd stand for her. And she'd look, and it was terrifying. It was terrifying. And she'd look, and she'd look, and then she would just go, and walk away. You just didn't know what was going to happen from there. If you were telling the truth, you felt pretty good, but if you weren't, you were pretty sure you were in trouble. If you were ever upset about something, and you came to her to talk about it, she had these words of wisdom, and maybe when I was young I didn't necessarily know they were words of wisdom, but they were. Go have yourself a good cry, and you'll feel better in the morning. And she was usually right. Or go have yourself a good cry and think about it in the morning. So if you were mad or angry and you wanted to lash out, just pause, go cry, and see how it looked in the morning. And that was really good advice, and I don't always follow it, but when I do, I think of my mom. And then when she would say to me, you'll deal with things, and you'll put up, and you'll put up, and you'll put up. And it's hard, and you think it's never going to be easy. But one day you'll wake up and decide, I'm not going to put up anymore. And when you decide that, it's going to be easy. It will actually be easy. And I didn't believe her. But in a very simplified way, she was right. Life can be hard. You sometimes have hard choices to make. But when you're ready, you'll know it. That's what she was saying. When you're ready, you'll know.
Good shot.
And then there is the story, this is more recent, of St. Peter. When she would say, well, I went to bed last night and I prayed to St. Peter. Just take me, I'm ready. And I woke up. And she would be honestly exasperated that she woke up that next day. And I'd say, but Mom, as long as you're still cracking jokes, you have business on this earth. She said, well, Kimberly Ann, I can't help it if I'm funny. Joking and laughter were very big things to her. And I always thought about that St. Peter's story. And I know she mentioned it to some of the aides at Madonna Manor a few times. And we talked about it. And I talked about how much I loved that because it showed her spirit and how much humor helps you in life and gets you through. And when we were with her at Madonna Manor that last day, and she was in rough shape, she was struggling, but there was maybe a half an hour that her eyes cleared, and there was, well, she was struggling to talk, there was some clarity there. And she was telling us, we could go now. Go. What are you guys all doing here? You can go. I'm fine. I'm okay. And then Tom was sitting on the side of her bed. He got up and he bumped the bed. And she made this painful, stricken face of pain, like, ow. And we all froze and looked at her. And then she laughed. And that was her last joke. And I feel blessed to have been there for her last joke. And I thank my brother Tom for making that happen by bumping her bed. so she could give us that one last laugh.
Missed it.
My funny stories.